Hello, Leo, and welcome to your December forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. The little furry guy behind me is Apollo, and we're both happy to see you. If you're brand new to the channel, just a quick breakdown here. This can be used for sun, rising, and moon. We have a lot of different parts here. We're going to start off with channeled messages, and in addition to reading cards, I'm also a medium, and I like to talk about what I pick up on before I do the reading. That includes in meditation and also in dreams. So, here's what I saw for you. The first thing was this expansive movement, and I even heard the sound of like shattering glass. Now, to me, this is actually auspicious, believe it or not, for those of you that, for instance, at work might have felt like there was a block, like a glass ceiling. I heard that shattering. This could also represent a moment where you're breaking through and getting past a fear, an anxiety, a mental block. So when that breakthrough moment happens, it can still be surprising, just like if you heard someone drop a glass and it shattered. What's really important this month is to stay grounded and to take a moment to just absorb and really take it all in before you react. It's easier said than done, so you may have to remind yourself, yeah, that's right. Nicholas said that there might be a movement, a change, or an opportunity that basically took me by surprise. So ground yourself, because I do feel like this can open you up to new things. And I had a few notes on what you want to be mindful of here. First of all, the movement that follows in January, February, etc. felt rapid, but what I was shown next was someone in a kind of like an airplane, but there was no pilot. So what's really going to help you stay on track and make not just great speed, but also great progress is having a plan. Take some time to really map out your financial journey, your personal development journey, anything that you really want to see resolved. So basically, we're talking about New Year's resolutions, but way before December 31st or January 1st. Even if you're watching me then, it's okay. But the sooner the better, because we can get that, plane or ship going in the right direction. Now, what I'm seeing, and I believe this could happen even just a little bit after New Year's, was some sort of an opportunity, a job offer, or it could have been even a relationship opportunity, but time is of the essence. And I very rarely rush someone to do something, but what I'm going to ask you in this moment to really tune into is your intuition. If you trust the opportunity and or the person, it's good to jump forward and go for it, a leap of faith, the fool. And I do think travel could be possible. It's not accidental that I'm seeing the plane. Now, all of that being said, get your passport up to date if you don't have that, or if there's some pre-paperwork that you need to do for travel, like a visa or anything of that nature, now is the time to get the paperwork together, because it feels like next year, rapid changes, rapid opportunities, and breakthroughs. But again, it requires your ability to embrace it and not worry too much as it's happening. Let's go ahead now and get started here. I'd like to call in the angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. As we're doing this, imagine yourself watching the rising sun, being enveloped in this beautiful cocoon of golden light. And as you are connected to that higher light, that higher energy, let's allow the messages to come forth. All right. Welcome, everybody. It's good to have you. There's that tower energy, that shattering that I was picking up on. All right, let's get started here with your Catalyst card, which is titled Wrath. The Catalyst is something we need to be mindful of. It can either accelerate growth or it can cause challenges. This month, we want to just be mindful of anger or heavy emotions. This literally is called out as wrath, so there could just be someone in your general vicinity. It could be your boss, a friend, a family member, and they're carrying a heavy emotional load, and they just kind of want to spew it out in one direction. You do not have to be the recipient of that, nor do you want to be party to it. And what I mean by that is if someone's complaining, gossiping, or saying disparaging things about someone else, that could then also create problems in the long run. So you want to keep your distance from any sort of energy that feels like this. Anger, chaos, disruption, or just heavy emotions without a general focus or purpose. It's just like, again, an onslaught of energy that someone's trying to get rid of. So be mindful of that. You may just have some pent up energy and you need a proper way to channel it. It could be talking to someone. Maybe you're going to get productive and do some house cleaning or something like that. But sometimes we need some help. And if you do, be mindful of emotions. Don't let it cloud the view. And that's the main takeaway here on this Catalyst card. The reason I wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about that is normally I'd go straight to the center card, but I'm looking at the Tower. It's touching all three cards, which are reversed. So it can be a breaking point. Some of you have just reached a breaking point and you're ready to say no. As I look at this overall spread here, what we see here ultimately are pretty manageable cards, but they definitely are emotional. I mean, we have the Moon here in Hopes, Fears, and Opportunities. Again, we have the Tower, which is touching a lot of these past, present, future cards. So we really want to stay grounded as much as possible. Let's just take it one card at a time, beginning with your centermost card. The Knight of Wands in reverse is basically asking you to slow down for a minute and get a bird's eye view of a situation before making a decision. So this can be any kind of decision, by the way. Wands has to do with thinking it through clearly. So sometimes we get so wrapped up in the moment. Maybe there's a lot of excitement or a lot of distraction. It clouds our vision and we just go forward with something that we normally wouldn't. So if it's peer pressure or confusion, pump the brakes a little bit and say, wait, I need a second, or I need some clarity, or I don't understand. There could also be something that doesn't feel right. Someone is trying to convince you to do it, but it just doesn't feel right on an intuitive level. So in this situation, follow your intuition and find a different way. The other thing that I'm getting with this could be that, you know, there's a lot of other people that are not allowing you to express your thoughts or ideas. You're having a difficult time getting a word in edgewise when it comes to a conversation. So this is also important for you to find a way to insert yourself in that conversation and say, wait, before we proceed, I have a question, I have a thought, or I don't agree. This is a bold, sometimes even brazen card, and when it's reversed, it's going to make sure that it's seen and heard. And I get it. Sometimes we're not always feeling comfortable in certain groups speaking up. But in this moment, I think it is important. One of the reasons it is important, again, is the Tower card that's on top of this. You could have an insight that could change everything. So that's why it's important to speak up. Also, someone could be pushing you to do something that could be a little bit chaotic. Again, try not to make decisions in a heavily emotional state, nor do you want to follow someone else who's in that heavily emotional state. Let's talk about the Tower. At its core, it's necessary change. And what happens when a Tower event comes into your life is basically you might have been dragging your feet in a certain position, just not making the necessary movement. You could just feel emotionally or mentally stuck, like, I don't know how to fix this. And lo and behold, the universe comes in and says, you know what? I'm going to make it so that you have to take action, think on your feet, and get out of the situation. So examples of a Tower moment. Positive Towers could be someone coming into your life and wanting to hire you or marry you. It could be a chance to move into a new home. It could be an elevation of some sort. Negative Towers or challenging Towers could be things like a layoff, someone breaking up with you. It can also simply be a reconstruction element in your life. So if you're going to renovate the house or reorganize a company or clean out the closet, but no matter what, it's change and movement. And that's why I think it's so important in this moment to get a clear vision. And now we'll go back to my channeled message, which was all about who's driving the plane or the ship. We need to make sure that you know where you're going and that you agree with the movement. Otherwise, it's just this. It's just chaotic. And some of you might just be in an environment where it's too much of this. There's a lot of cross-talking. There's a lot of people fighting to be seen and heard. Okay? So whatever that necessary change is, I would say not just December. Tower energies usually take a couple of months to happen and clear. So I would say both December and January, you're going to be making some significant and perhaps really impactful and important changes. Tower doesn't have to be negative, but you do have to pay attention to it. If not, then it gets a little bit tricky. Okay? So as I look at what's going on around the tower, it feels okay. That's why I'm not too worried about this. But you have 3 reversals, 1 upright, so let's try to get some clarity on the reversals. In the deep past, we have a King of Swords. The King of Swords is reversed. This is about being active, decisive, and clear and concise in your communication. Really, that's it. And for many of you, there may have been a tendency to just not say certain things, watch stuff happen, not say certain things, or know that you want to do something, but maybe because you're tired or you don't know how to do it, or there's a feeling of being overwhelmed, there's no action that's been taken. So the reverse King of Swords is coming through saying, now is a moment to be very active, to really take the helm and make it happen. Just like the Justice card, which follows it, and we'll go more into that in a second, it is also connected to contracts and legal matters. So if there's something that requires your attention, you may have to go a couple of rounds in revising it. There may also be a couple of areas where you have to say how you feel. I want this, I don't want that. A couple of declarations are being sort of invited and asked of you this month. The only thing you want to be mindful of with both the King and the Queen of Swords reversed is timing. If you pick the wrong time, it could upset someone. But if you pick the right time, you could get what you want. So let's talk about justice, because it's our segue into that Ace of Pentacles, which is upright, which is good. So justice reverse, it's basically dealing with an injustice. If something hasn't been done as agreed upon, if something is legally incorrect, morally incorrect, emotionally sort of unsettling, whatever it is that doesn't feel right, you're going to take the scales and balance it out. And one simple way to do this sometimes is just to say no or stop. These are complete sentences as well as direct communication. So if something needs to be dealt with, now is the time. This is also a chance for you to find better balance in your life, work-life balance. Anything that's lacking in your life, now is a chance to say, I want more of that and less of this, and I'm going to take action. And I'm going to restructure my schedule in order to make it happen. I think the single most important thing this month right now is this card, the Ace of Pentacles. It represents your clear vision of what it is that you want. And in the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, when you see the hand with the element, in this case, Earth, Pentacles, it's basically you could be receiving something or you could be reaching for something. And so there could be a little bit of both. This is a good month for commerce and transactions. We have to get the sort of legal stuff together, but once you do that, this can represent an opportunity or someone coming through and saying, yes, what you want, I can deliver. So if you are interested in someone or something, I think it's very important this month to just put it out there and say, hey, I'm also interested in this. Can we make this happen? Is it mutual? And by doing that, you're showing the universe a clear path of what it is that you want. You start to open up the synchronicities. You could be choosing this month to invest in yourself. You might also be thinking of making a big purchase. And again, there could be someone who just is giving you that nod of approval. Hey, I think you're worth it. And one thing that I've been trying to help everybody with, as we've been looking at daily card reads as well, is getting into that preparedness for when a synchronicity meets you so that you aren't doubting yourself. Because, as we talked about in channeled messages, there's a window of opportunity. And I heard the window shattering, so it's quick. So you have to be able to think on your feet when this happens, and if it feels right, say, yeah, let's do this, okay? By the way, one note on home improvement, do check the windows. Make sure they're stormproof in particular, since that's what I heard. And I think this is particularly for those of you that might live in climates where there's either an earthquake or tornadoes or hurricanes, something that could create pressure with the windows or cause them to break. I heard it. It was a very sort of sensory message as I woke up this morning. Okay, let's move on to the next message. This is about clarity. So the Seven of Cups in the traditional illustration just shows a lot of things floating in the sky, and it's sort of like, which one do I want? It can also be ambiguity. So from the clarity standpoint, when you're talking to someone, don't beat around the bush. Be as clear as you can and say, again, this is my expectation. Are you in? It's a lot easier from the recipient's standpoint to know what's necessary rather than to hint at it or be vague or to kind of put a bunch of other stuff in front of it. You just lose the person. So less is more, basically, in communication. This can be confusion. You can even see a little bit of it here. He doesn't know which one to go for. So if you're not clear on someone else's instructions or an opportunity in front of you or whatever, ask. It's always better to ask. There are no silly questions. You're going to save yourself time by getting the clarity now. And if anybody in your life is impatient when you ask that question, that's a red flag. That's something to pay attention to in the long run and just sort of see why that's happening and why they wouldn't want you to be as clear as possible, particularly if you're working together. So there you go. One thing that's unique to this illustration is don't give up on a wish. It could come back around because we're looking at a very Aladdin-like illustration here. So keep on reaching for your goals and dreams. Keep on paying attention to daydreams and wishes. One of those can eventually come through. One of them may actually come to fruition this month. You may be having a little bit of hard time concentrating as well with the Seven of Cups. The distraction that we're seeing here, this can be construction. This can be people arguing. There could be a lack of peace and quiet around you. So do what you can to remedy that, okay? You're coming through in a really beautiful state this month with the King of Pentacles. I feel like whatever it is that you want or need or put your mind to this month, you can get it and you can see a lot of progress on it. This King of Pentacles has this shell and it's almost like a little bit of hermiting energy. So I feel like you know how to protect what matters most. There's a little bit of invitation to come out of your shell, but this is a slower moving King of Pentacles. Slow, strategic, and mindful, and very grounded. And I think all of these things are going to serve you well with respect to the fact that there's some changes going on. Some of these changes could be really, really good. Some of them could just be surprisingly fast, and that's why you have to slow down and make sure that you know what it is you want, where it is you want to go, and how you feel about all of this, okay? Talk about money, look at your budget, focus on time, energy, and money overall, because you have like a green thumb whenever this card comes through, which means that you can create growth and see improvement, particularly in the area of resources. Okay, here's the first challenging card. This I'm reading as perhaps a distraction, but this one can legitimately be challenging, particularly with its placement, which is the environment. Five of Swords. It was reversed, which means it is either getting better or you can see the solution here. But typically with the Five of Swords, someone doesn't want to listen to you. They're getting a rise out of your frustration, and there may be diminishing returns in your ability to reach out to them and reason. I always love to reference Rider-Waite-Smith on this particular illustration because if you look at the character in the foreground, he's actually getting satisfaction out of causing some of this chaos. And I think that that's connected to this and also this. So there's someone that is in your surroundings that really isn't worth the time and energy. And this is a moment to just sort of separate and distance yourself from that person. That Five of Swords energy can also be kind of like the inner saboteur hanging out on your shoulder, whispering just insecurities into your ear. So you want to be mindful of that as well. And we can see here that feeling of kind of like despair or sadness or defeat. So you can do this. And whoever it is or whatever it is, if it's an internal voice that's telling you that you can't, this is time to turn that down and to focus on other things, on the possibilities, okay? Let's look at hopes, fears, and opportunities here. We have the moon coming through. I like the moon because the moon represents the ability to tune into your most basic form of intuition and instinct, which will always serve you well. It's a card of empowerment and creation. But in order for it to be fully empowered, we have to face our fears. And once you face the fears, you get to cross the bridge and really feel this sense of, wow, I did it. I didn't know I could do it, but I did it. So in the upright position, we can see the balance, the reflective quality. This is a really good time to meditate, to get advice from others, and to take it one step at a time. She's not going to leap over the bridge. Emotional recovery and grieving and just getting yourself through a challenging moment, it is a step at a time, a breath at a time, a day at a time. And eventually you're on the other side. I feel like some of you might be half of the way there whenever you're watching this reading. Don't stop, keep going. And if there is somebody that's making you feel this kind of reaction or is directing their own emotions at you, whether it's wrath or something else, you deserve better. And that's basically what this card is showing you. I feel like the biggest challenge this month so far is environmental, or it could be either a person or an environment, or a person in the environment, because they kind of go hand in hand. Don't be afraid to talk through things. Don't be afraid to face your own fears. This is going to be what liberates you this month and allows you to embrace this card here. In the outcome, we have Queen of Cups in reverse. Could be new love or friendship coming in. Many of you are just dealing with heightened sensitivity, heightened intuition, and because of that, it's a lot to process, right? And I keep picking up on just what to do with all of that. So we'll take the most elevated version of this card, which is new love that sweeps you off your feet. You're kind of feeling head over heels. Take your time. Don't rush. It's important to be this energy, the King of Pentacles. That's how you showed up. Slow, steady, clear. The other thing that this can represent is a lot of ideas coming forth, more than you're used to. So I think it's important to jot this down and make sure that you're not losing any of these insights as they're coming through. And then finally, of course, if it is just feeling a lot, more emotions than you're used to feeling, then this is a great time to lean on the support of others so that you can make the most of this, because I do feel like being in touch with your emotions is a sign of strength. We just sometimes aren't able to show it to everybody. So find a person or a group or a place where you can be yourself and you can express this, because you could also just be celebrating some good news here. A new job, birth of a baby, someone, again, investing in you or saying that they love you, because this can also be a proposal. Whatever it is, this can be happy tears too. But it's a lot to process. So I want to help you navigate through the tower energy that we're seeing here. Let's go ahead and get started with the health card first and foremost. Just a reminder, now we're in the expanded forecast. We're going to start off with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. When I'm looking at this particular message here, the Master, to me, it's about controlling your health and the direction of your health. And for some of you, it's also a call to be a little bit more proactive and less reactive, basically to get behind the wheel and drive when it comes to all things mind, body, and spirit. Now, I also get like solar plexus activation when I look at this. So this is a time where you really want to focus on having a strong core, and any way you want to work on exercising or strengthening that is key. There could also be authority challenges this month. This could be parent, grandparent, boss, or someone in your life that likes to boss you around, and you're reclaiming your power. And that's why I'm also getting heightened sensitivity around the stomach area. So be kind to yourself. Be aware of that part of your body and focus on being proactive in all things health related. Let's go ahead and look and see what additional energy messages are coming through in health. Again, standard disclaimer applies. I'm a medium and a tarot reader, so I'll identify areas where you can focus on, and then you'll work with a professional as needed. Okay, it may be time to clean your house. The tower can just be a messy environment. I also mentioned that there could be a lot of noise. And some of it could come in the form of people that are either fighting or just saying negative things. So we want to tune that out. Ideally, move up or move away from that so that you can really focus. There is a lot of opportunity this month, but that's a distraction. Creating better balance in your life. If you're working too much, or if you're sleeping too much, or if there's anything that is to an extreme, Justice Reverse is saying it's time to find the proper balance. Concentration. If we take out of the sort of mix that there could be distractions, if you still are having issues with concentrating, again, it could be related to sleep or diet or something else. That's something to talk to the doctor about. I think for most of you, though, it is just environmental. And once you shift to a new environment, you should be able to focus. The moon card in reverse can show dehydration, a change in your moon cycle for women. It's also an invitation for everybody to pay attention to just the reproductive system. We don't always look at that. That's something that is important. And if you are trying to get pregnant this month, emotions heavily weigh upon the ability to conceive. So it's important to be kind to yourself, no matter what. Even if you're not trying to get pregnant, this card is showing that heightened sensitivity this month can cause distraction, and it is something, like, we don't talk enough about the importance of mental health, but I think that is one of the big kind of markers this month is emotions, coping mechanisms, and making sure that you don't feel alone. Let's go ahead and take a look at the energies surrounding wealth. I'm just going to pull the card straight up to the camera here. We have knowledge coming through. It's a little hard to read it. It also says air spirit, so there could be someone like a Libra, Gemini, or an Aquarius coming into your life that could be lending some support there. And in fact, if I were to pick one of those, Justice is Libra. Could be a lawyer, could be a Libra. Either way, this could help you make a decision. This could also be someone that's coming through on a legal perspective to get you in the right direction. From your perspective, this is also just saying, get the knowledge you need, do the research that you need in order to make a clear decision and to hopefully go from this place of, I don't know what to do, to, you know what, I've explored the options and this one feels right. And it may come down to that. There may be sort of like shades of gray where eventually you're just like, that's the one that just vibes with me, so I'm going to go in that direction. Okay? So research, development, and then again, counseling if you need to get counsel, whether it's just asking a friend or working with a professional like a lawyer. Okay, let's break this down into 3 major categories, and a couple of these have subcategories, but I'm going to start off with those of you that are currently employed, also if you own your own business. Then we'll look at job seekers, and then we'll take a look at those that are either students or retired. If you have a traditional job, aka you work for someone else, I do think that the environment or the morale could be distracting, because we can see it's either the environment as a whole or one person that is just not taking feedback very well. So this could be someone that doesn't want to listen when they've done something wrong, or they only want to tell you what you are doing wrong and they're never positive in reinforcement. Either way, it's a broken record. And that's something that you'll either want to lean on the support of someone else to address, or you might have to go straight to the source and say, this needs to stop. I have some thoughts and ideas. You're finding your voice and you're reclaiming your power. That's why I also felt like that solar plexus energy in health. It'll make you feel happier in the long run. You may also be a part of a group or a company that is reorganizing. They could have just been bought out by someone else. They may be downsizing or growing. The tower can represent a combination of both. Because the Ace of Pentacles is in the crowning position, you either are going to benefit from this or you're going to land on your feet. So that is actually something that's a kind of like silver lining there. I also think it's really important to speak up. When change is happening, sometimes we just cross our fingers and hope for the best. You should be an active participant. I often use the metaphor of like surfing. If there's a wave, you can just stand there and let it crash on you, or you can be like a surfer and ride that wave to the destination, hopefully on your feet. You want to be more like the surfer rather than just someone saying, I hope it goes well, and lets the wave crash. If you ask for what it is that you want, if you participate and you co-create with whoever it is that's involved in making changes, you can benefit from this. That's what I'm getting. Rise above either your emotions or someone else's. Tune out overt negativity or critical messages without any constructive backing up. and ask questions and cut through the nonsense. There may be someone that just talks and talks, but they don't say anything. So at the end of the day, just say, what is it that I need to do? Thank you for all of that, but what's the deliverable, particularly when it comes to work? For you, make sure you're clear as well. And I think the clarity and communication can save so much time and effort. Slow and steady wins the race when it comes to this King of Pentacles. But you have a lot of power cards, Ace of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, and even the Queen of Cups. She's passionate, she's creative, she's feeling a little bit overwhelmed, so take care of yourself. This is whatever change or movement is going on, the Tower is typically very obvious. So you should be able to see it coming. But if it does take you by surprise, remember, breathe, collect your thoughts, and then take action. There's a lot of opportunity, and we don't see chaotic cards here in the outcome. And that's a good thing. I also just think there could be confusion. Some of you are wondering, like, now what? What's next? And that's normal in any sort of part of your life to kind of do some soul searching. And that's what this is about. Maybe you're thinking of going back to school or talking to a peer or an expert, and I'm all for that, okay? Avoid doing something that's wrong. Like literally, if it's against policy, against the law, or you don't want to do it, like I said before, this Knight and this Moon card are coming together to make sure that the Tower doesn't happen, okay? Follow your instincts. They will not lead you astray. Overall, pretty good, and you could end up with something positive coming out of this, a breakthrough, breaking through a mental block, or again, a perceived glass ceiling, because we actually have a power card in the outcome. It could take you by surprise. Okay, if you own your own company, or if you work in a small company and you're one of the primary owners, it's time to change things up. There could have been some things in the past where product offering was stale, or you said you were going to deliver on something and you didn't. This is a time to really think boldly about the year ahead. You may be more in the planning phase, because this is touching all of these cards of, we'll do less of this, we're going to explore this, I want to invest in this. So it's basically more cognitive because of the placement here. The crossing card isn't necessarily going to happen. It can be the energy of how you're doing this. So you're deciding, let's change our corporate structure. Let's change our thinking. Let's slow down here. Let's be more bold in our marketing. All of that, change it up. You could get a great return on that change. One of the things I think you want to address in if you have your own business is really focusing on the desires and the frustrations of your customers. You can't make them all happy, but you can make some of them very happy. And we're going to focus on doing that, really catering to the core customers. Sending out a questionnaire can be a great way to do that, okay? You're sitting on some capital or some opportunity. Everybody this month, when I'm looking at wealth, it looks like there's an opportunity here. So I feel good about it, but we want to make sure that customer service and delivering on promises is being dealt with, okay? For those of you that are job seeking, I think the number one thing you want to do is homework with respect to the company's financial structure. Is it growing or is it contracting? The company's legal issues. Is there anything in the trade papers about, a court case that's going on? And the quality of the workplace, the morale. Are people happy or are they complaining? Because I'm seeing any one of those things in some of the new jobs that you're seeking. So make sure that it's vetted legally, make sure that you like how big or small it is, make sure that you know if it's growing or shrinking, and make sure that the environment is good. Could you get a job this month? Yes. Do you need to be super discerning? Yes. Could it take the better part of a month? That's what I'm seeing with the Moon card. And at the end of the day, you really want to make sure that you don't act too hastily. The Tower could show a last-minute change. They're like, oh, we forgot to mention this, or it may take a couple of attempts to get the signature or the person in the right place at the right time. I do think you can get the signature. I also think you might want to outline a couple of things that you like or don't like on the contract. Contracts are made to be negotiated many times, and so you never know what's possible until you ask. And if you are clear and concise and fair in what it is that you're asking, especially salary negotiation, you can get it, okay? Take your time. I see one option. I don't see a ton, but I see one, and it looks like you need to take your time in getting into that, okay? For those of you, and by the way, it's possibly a little bit more creative than before. They're asking you to be a little bit more creative. That's one thing that I'm picking up on. One other thing, by the way, is the job description is a little obtuse or a little hard to read, so make sure that you get all of the expectations kind of like hammered out before you start. All right, for those of you that are students, well, you're very close. Some of you are close to graduation. The tower can just simply show that it's a big semester and you're getting ready for the next big step. You could be thinking of studying abroad. There could also be so much going on right now that it's very difficult to concentrate, because I saw that. I think that if that's the case, and it could be environmental, noisy, or just annoying roommate, or construction around where you're studying or living, or just a lot of energy that takes you out of being able to focus. Environment is everything. Once you get past the environment, you've got it. But emotions and environment are weighing pretty heavily upon this reading. You may also be deciding, like we're almost through the semester. There's literally just maybe a month or a month and a half, depending on when you're watching this. So are you going to change it up next semester? Are you going to change your mind or change your major, transfer to a different school? The tower can be exploring options. Remember to take your time and vet it out. Talk to people that are there. That is so important. And that helped me when I was looking at schools. I remember talking to some former classmates that were already there like a year ahead of me and asked them, do you like it here? It's a great way to get an unbiased opinion. You can't always trust the tour guide, right? Or your admissions counselor. Okay, now focusing on the retirees. It feels like it's almost like you're itching for a change. Some of you are just feeling stuck in a pattern, and this is a time to really change it up. You may decide to invest in something new in your life. For some of you, you might want to take a class or learn something new. For some of you, you're saying, you know what, I want to do a little bit of traveling, but I'm looking at it by foot. It does not necessarily have to be jumping on a plane. In fact, I think it's important to really do your research, because those plans might change. So local traveling or going over one city, state, or province, like that kind of, it's less expensive and it's still a change of scenery. I feel like a change of scenery could help clear the mind a little bit right now. Explore things, get inspired. This is a card of curiosity, and this is a card of learning. So feed the curiosity, and the fun thing when you're retired is you don't need to get credit for certain things. If you just want to take a class in pottery or music or learn a new language so you can travel, because this is ultimately a travel energy on this card, do that now and get ready. It's kind of like a carrot to look forward to something in the future. All right? And that's everything. Let's go ahead and move on now to love and relationships. We have the beautiful energy here of rebirth here and renewal. So Osiris came through, and Osiris, of course, is representing, for some of you, karmic energy. You may have already met a soulmate. You may be about to meet someone from a past life. This is also a chance to recover from a bad relationship or to get past a challenge in an existing one. So let's talk about it. All right, we're obviously going to break this down into three major categories. Those that are in a relationship, looking for love, or happily single. We'll start off with those currently in a relationship. Change is happening. One or both of you may have just moved, or you might have moved in with each other. This can represent an engagement and or a marriage, and this is like the first time you're cohabitating, and it is discombobulating, right? When that happens, and it's like, well, where's my stuff, and what are you doing, and how are we going to organize all of this? Give it time. I'm actually not that worried about it. Yes, it's a lot, but I love that we have a love card here. I think as long as communication is open, you'll be all right. And it feels like both of you want to build something steady. So just don't panic. Things can be messy in the beginning. Try to avoid having a conversation when you're agitated. So I mentioned this month in general, you're coming through with heightened sensitivity. That's a great recipe for this, especially if you're tired. So table any really difficult discussions until you feel this sense of renewal. Like sometimes it's better to wait until tomorrow or until you have more information. Other things that I'm picking up on for those in a relationship. Some of you are entering into this cautiously optimistic. One or both of you may be divorced, because the Justice card is usually a divorce or a separation in the past, but it doesn't always feel good because it's really close to the Wrath card. This is a different vibe with this person. There may still be some patterns from the past, and we're going to be looking at a Mercury retrograde here for part of the month. So it's important not to fall into those patterns and to see this person and you as being more compatible. So if I'm looking at you and this other person, I see grounded, and then I see someone who wants a little bit more validation possibly from you. And there may be this fear of, how much of myself can I put out there? It feels like it's okay. Talk about your hopes and your dreams. That's really the key to success here for those of you that have been through something difficult before. And let people know when you're triggered, and let them know that it's from something in the past. Let them also know when things are going great. It's important to have validation, not just criticism. And that's the lesson of the Five of Swords. I think overall it's manageable. However, if there's something that becomes a pressure cooker situation, and again, I think for some of you, there could be a partner who just has a hard time listening. I can see a temper rising here. I don't want to say it's like a tantrum or an argument, but it's something like that. I do think it can be resolved, but this is serious. So let's make sure that when you say something, you mean it. This can be a question like, do we really want to continue? So you only want to say that when you're sure that you're okay with either answer, right? For most of you this month, it's just about finding some balance in your life, being kind to one another, not letting the past repeat, and asking a question. I think this is a great way to avoid an argument. What did you mean by that? Or how did you, was I clear on this? Like, always ask the question before jumping to an immediate reaction, because you may find that what you saw and heard wasn't what they saw and heard. And then you can figure out, first of all, how to convey what you need to and avoid having that miscommunication, because I think that's all that is really coming through for some of you as an argument. So that's a good test for a relationship. I feel like you can manage this. All right, moving on. For those of you that are looking to separate, which will help segue us into the next, which is single and looking, I think that the important thing here is to pick and choose your battles. It feels like it doesn't have to be negative, but it could. So I would take a step back like we saw here and wait and get stuff in writing, make sure that everything is sorted out, make sure that you're understanding it from their perspective, and if you need to get a mediator, okay? But most people, I think it is just about open communication this month. For those that are single and looking, okay, the challenge for many of you is you could just be recently located in a new city, or your status just changed. You're single for the first time in a bit. One of the things you just want to focus on is taking care of yourself, doing some things that you enjoy. While doing that, you may meet people. I definitely see the capacity to bring in a couple of energies this month. One thing that is interesting here is that there's a lot of different types of energy that you're calling forth. Be more concise and clear with the type of person that you want. We're not talking, appearance. It's more like, what are the attributes? Is it someone that's self-sufficient? Is it someone that needs you? Is it someone that has a job? Is it someone that wants a family? What are the things you're looking for? The kind of laundry list. And I think 3 to 5, let's keep it manageable, the big things, send that out into the universe. That can help limit, sort of what you're pulling in. I'll tell you what I see right now. First of all, past life energy. So the past life lesson that we're seeing here is stability. I feel like in this lifetime, the two of you are coming together to show that you can do this, because it feels like it was either unrequited or it was messy in the past. This time, because we see this, these two imbalance cards here. So this time around, you're going to take it slow. You don't have to rush into something, even if you feel the immediate connection. You're calling in potentially an earth sign that seems really focused on their career, isn't in a rush to get into something, will be a natural sort of partner once they do, but they need to feel out the sort of situation here. I see one person here that can be summed up with these two cards, and I feel like you want to avoid it. It could be a water sign. It could just be someone that can't listen, because I'm seeing these two together. So if somebody's a poor listener, that's an immediate red flag, and I think you can move on. If you do meet a water sign separate of this, I also feel like they need more validation from you. This is someone that wants to be wanted. So if you want someone that really you can pour your affection on, that's that. Overall, I think it's time to just focus on letting the dust settle for a minute and really getting clear on what you're looking for. You have options, but there's some chaos and there's some things that need to be sort of grounded first. And I think once that's sorted, then it's going to be easier to figure out, how to make the relationship thing happen faster. If you're really good and you're like, Nicholas, there's no chaos, I'm ready. I like this energy. I like the earth sign. And it feels to me like slow is okay as long as progress is being made. So that's my advice on that. Okay. If you are single and happy, good for you. You can get a lot done this month. Development and opportunity in finances. A chance to explore new things that you've never done, to travel or to move, or to make significant changes for the better in your life. So I love all of that. Do something creative right now, because all of this creativity and sensitivity, if channeled, could also be very productive as well. And if you need to take care of yourself, please do that. Let's take a look at your destiny card. So the card was reversed, but I want to read it upright. We have Daniel coming through here, and it says, divine discernment. Trust the messages within. They are divinely guided. I mean, I wish I could go back to a younger me and say this. I think all of us have had a situation in our life where we think to ourselves, I knew better, but I did it anyway. This month, when you know better, do what you think you should do. Trust in the instinct. You don't even need to be meditating, pulling cards, or tuning in. You feel it in your bones, in your solar plexus, in your third eye, wherever your connection is. Know yourself, know your emotions, know your intuition, and follow the path that you're led to follow. Okay? Let's go ahead now and take a deeper dive into the energies of sun, rising, and moon and see what else is in store for you. Sun, rising, and moon. All right, let's start with sun sign messages first. Well, we got our second significant change card here with death. So with death in the tower, and we also had Osiris, which was renewal, you kind of got it all. So this is change, letting go of something, allowing something better to come forth. I just did a daily reading where I was talking about how the rose in the banner is also in the death card. Let me see if I have it handy here, and we can talk about that for a second. So basically, the death card, here it is. Yes, we do, because I just read it the other day. So in tarot, you'll notice here that there is this beautiful rose that is coming forth, which is also on the Fool, and there's a little tiny rose in the corner here, which I just read. These roses represent a chance for you to let one thing go and let something new come in. Because you got death in this particular part of the chart here, sun sign, it's really about embracing what needs to be released with the understanding and the promise that, and I'll pull the traditional Fool card, and you can see the rose that he's carrying there, that something new will come in. So it's both sides of the coin. Something's leaving, and then something will come in its place. Don't be afraid to let go. And don't be afraid to be the agent of change. One thing that she can see is the specter of that change or energy of renewal coming. So getting ahead of it, being proactive, like we talked about earlier, that's going to be the key to your success. As we move on to the rising sign here, we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. And interestingly enough, I love that we have a dog at the center. You can teach an old dog new tricks. So for some of you, there's this feeling that I've always done it this way, or it's always been expected to be done this way. That's the only way. No, it isn't. The interesting thing with Ten of Pentacles is it can be very seeped in tradition or old-fashioned ways. So I feel like you're breaking free of a familial or even like a workplace norm and saying, let's try this. Ten of Pentacles in reverse can also be connected to the reconstructing energy of the tower, moving things around. saying, I need to put a little bit of my time and energy here instead. Making necessary changes in your budget, in your schedule, and possibly even looking at your engagements, your social engagements, your circles of friends and colleagues, and kind of doing an audit and thinking, does it make sense? Ultimately, the 10 of Pentacles is an auspicious and positive card, but you're being pickier, you're deciding. And remember, Daniel came through with divine discernment. Trust the messages within and know that they are divinely guided, even if they're kind of encouraging you to go in a direction that is unexpected or hasn't been done before. And at any age or at any stage, you can learn something new, and other people around you can learn as well, if given the chance. Moving on to the moon sign, we have the Three of Cups in reverse. First of all, it's an invitation from Spirit to get out and have some fun, to break up the routine a little bit, and to mix and mingle. Ultimately, this is a chance for you to meet new people, but if you're kind of hermiting or saying no to all of the invitations, it's going to be difficult to grow that circle of friends. And I was mentioning here that some of you are doing an audit and thinking, I need to focus less on this person or this sort of group, especially if they bring forth that Five of Swords energy. And I want to see what else is out there. So new activities, new people, new sort of environments that you haven't been before. This is a time to do that. Some of you are also just tired of dating. This can be for those of you that are looking for someone in your life, and take a break if you need to. And then try to get back into the energy of fun. Three of Cups doesn't necessarily have to be, seeking someone out and getting set up or using the apps. It can simply be going to a gathering, and we're in the holiday season here, having a great conversation with someone, and it sparks something more. So focus more on organic areas where you might meet someone and see if that doesn't change up the energy a bit, okay? Let's now focus on one final question. This can be anything that you still need some guidance on that I haven't already covered. Go ahead and formulate that question. I'm going to shuffle up the cards here and we'll see what Spirit has to say. All right, we have another card of socializing here, the Six of Cups. It was also reversed. And this is about, again, making time to just let the inner child come out and play here. So for those of you that have a family, you might be deciding in this moment to just spend a little bit more time with your spouse, with your children. If you have nieces and nephews or grandchildren, again, prioritizing that. But for those of you that are single, happy, and feeling like that inner child within just wants to have some fun, yes, that's what this card is all about. You could also be calling in a really great friend or partnership, whether it's love or other, it doesn't matter. Six of Cups is fantastic. You don't need a card, you don't need me. You would just feel that connection to validate it, like, where have you been, right? And I've been lucky enough in my life to have a few friendships like that. Immediately, like there's no sense that this is going to be difficult. We just vibe. And again, it can hit in any of the categories, from a friend to a coworker to just a neighbor. And it's like, again, where have you been? I've been waiting for this connection. So this is a month to definitely get out there. I'm getting encouragement with both the Three and the Six of Cups to mix and mingle in different change is good. So whatever you've been doing, try something else. But this time around, we're calling in something even higher, even better. Okay? Good stuff. I hope that this helped you. I certainly enjoyed reading everything, and I feel like there is a chance to make a significant shift, a breakthrough even, but it's important to focus on trusting yourself, that discernment. Also, because change can be difficult, it was nice to see that we got the energy of renewal, showing that you can bounce back, and also that Ace of Pentacles in the crowning position, showing that you can come out of this on your feet. It's just a matter of staying cool, calm, and collected, right? And not giving in to that kind of heavy emotion. With all that being said, if you enjoyed this, please show me some support in the form of subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment. In particular, I'd really love to know what some of you may be going through when it comes to the Tower, or what it might be if you're feeling like you're getting a fresh start. Let me know what these changes and movements are. I think it's really beautiful that this is coming through like right on the heels of December. So give me a comment. I'm always open to hear that, and I love to see how this connects with you. You can also follow me across all major social media platforms. It's Nicholas Ashbaugh on all of those. You can go to my website for more information, and it's nicholasashbaugh.com. Also, the main YouTube channel page has all the links there. If you would like to give back in the form of a super sticker or super chat or a membership, all of that is available right here as well. The join button beneath the video is a great way to become a member and give back on a consistent basis. So thank you in advance. Be mindful, by the way, that there are sometimes people that pretend to be me on different media platforms. Remember, I do not offer private readings, and I'm not going to use a direct message to contact you. So stay safe. And again, when in doubt, you can go to my website for more info. That, my friends, is everything. Thank you for your time, your energy, for showing up here and being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Wouldn't be here without your love and support. Until I see you again, take care. Remember to also check out my daily and my weekly videos, which are available on the main page. Take care.